Welcome back to the channel Trading Simplified. I'm a trading enthusiast and love to simplify trading. To get started, just a reminder that I'm not a financial advisor and this video is for entertainment purposes only. What's up, everybody? Today I am going to discuss what I use to trade and I believe what gives me the edge. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the RSI. So I'm using the Webull platform, and under the Webull platform you have this list where you can start making charts, you can start making things that pop up. And what you want to do is you want to go under indicators and you want to click on the indicator, and then you can see that this comes up and you want to click RSI. This is relative strength index, and this is going to indicate whether something is a buy or a sell, if it's oversold or overbought. So as you can see here, there's 70 and then there's 30. So I'm focusing on this box only right now. And I have Zoom stock up right now just to kind of illustrate, because they had earnings and then they sold off. So it's a really good time to use RSI and look if the stock is oversold. So I use this box here, RSI, Relative Strength Index, and less than 30 means it's oversold and we want to potentially make a buy, and I'll show you on the chart where I would look for that. And then 70 means it's overbought and it's most likely going to pull back and sell off. So a good example is I'm looking at Zoom, and look over here, you can see that this is really high, and as I move the cursor you see that little blue dot moving. It's going to show a number for RSI. So right there, the RSI is 69 at the top. So anytime RSI is above 70, it really means that it's going to sell off. And it doesn't mean it's 100% accurate most of the time, but it's a good indicator to give you an idea if maybe you should wait and not buy into the hype. So a good example is over here. If you were to be buying, if you were watching Zoom and it was at 290, and then it moved all the way up to here to 303, around this range, you can see that the RSI is moving up as it's going. And as the RSI gets up to 70, look at the top peak here, it sells off. And you can follow the RSI down here as it comes down. And the RSI decreases in value. It goes from 48, 52, all the way down here, which is 39. And then look as a massive sell-off comes down, it goes down to this 273 range. Look at your RSI down here. Your RSI is at 22, this marker right here. So this would have been a good entry. Now that's just a basic example of using RSI. I want to go into another indicator that I like to use, VWAP, which is volume weight adjusted average price. Now if you look, I'm clicking it up here and it's highlighting it, and you see this orange, that line that follows it. So I'm just clicking it so you can see it and see the difference. So this is showing the volume weight average price, and this is the second indicator I use, and this illustrates basically the average price that everybody is buying at. So when you have a stock that is, you see how it's following it? This is what the average price people are paying for this stock. And a good rule of thumb is if the stock is trading higher than the VWAP, it's called VWAP, VWAP. If a stock is trading higher than it, that usually indicates a sign of bullishness. And as indicated, you can see that, look at these green candles indicating it's going up and red selling, but it's staying above VWAP. It is indicating that it is still a buy, that it is more bullish. But when a stock starts to sell off, you can see that, look, the majority of shares that are bought in these candles is below VWAP, the orange. And you can see it, look, as it's going down, all the candles are pretty much below it. And now look, right here, above VWAP, which was, at this point in time, during this time, was 276. And now the candles are going above it. As VWAP's increasing, look, the candles are staying above, so it shows that it is bullishness. Now it shows you can't just follow that. Doesn't mean it's going to work forever, but it's a good second indicator that I like to use. The third indicator that I think everybody should have on, which would be on everybody's chart, is volume. So volume, so I'm clicking here so you can see the difference. So volume here is this box when I click, and it's showing you the amount of volume that is being traded in that moment. So you really want to know what the average day's worth on a company is selling. Like, to zoom how many trades. So if I buy something and someone sells something, that's one volume, right? So we want to know, is the volume massive? Because if you get massive volume like sell-offs, like good example, see this big sell-off here? When people were buying this and it was coming up from 292, look at this candle that sold off. So I'm focusing on this red bar right here. This red bar was around, and here's your numbers over here. So look at this number here as I'm floating, as you can see the ball moving. So when it was here, it was about 398,000 shares were sold. And then you have this big bar up here, which indicates that it was So it indicates that it went to 1.6 million. So when I look at the volume, I'm looking over here, and then I can see that the volume in this candle was, and this is the 1 hour candle, this is 1 hour. It was 300,000, 377,000, 400,000, and then the sell-off was 600,000. But then look at that. So you had a sell-off of 600,000 shares, and then it went up to 1.6 million shares sold. Bought. So you always want to see what the volume looks like, because if the volume is higher that day and the stock is moving up, that means it's more bullish. Now, the same thing can happen if a stock is bearish, meaning it's selling off. So you see here, look at this candle right here, focusing here, right on these red candles, and then looking at this number here for the volume, you can see that on the start of the sell-off, when it was at the high of 305, you could see that it was 500,000, 600,000, 900,000, and a massive sell-off of 1.2 million. And then when you're trying to look to buy, you want to see, like, should I be buying this dip? And the answer, you can obviously see that the answer was no, but you want to see how many people are really buying these dips. You just saw that was over like 3 million that just sold off in these 4 candles over an hour. So 4 hours of selling off. And the only people that bought it were 624,000 in this next green wick. Now, obviously, you need time to make these decisions. You have to make them quicker, but you need to be able to read them quicker as they go. Now, so I like to use the VWAP, the RSI, and the volume. And the next one for swing traders, meaning that if a stock sells off and you want to hold it for a week or a few days, I like EMA. Now, I'm clicking it a few times so you can see the purple line come in. And a good rule of thumb of EMA is kind of similar to VWAP, is that it's going to show you that if you see this purple, I'm going to get rid of the other ones just so it's clearer to see. So I got rid of VWAP, I got rid of RSI, and I got rid of volume. So I just want you to just focus on EMA. So if you look at EMA, EMA is a great indicator that when I look at a stock, I want to see, is it worth buying? So when I have EMA on, I go to the 6 months, always 180 days out. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you get a better view. And ignore this. Ignore all these. We're focusing on the purple. The purple is what we're focusing on, which you can see here, EMA. I don't really care about the number, the 314. That doesn't matter to me. What I look at is, what is the trend? What does the trend look like? If you notice, whenever the EMA line, the purple line, whenever the candles are above it, it's more bullishness and it has a trend to move up. So as you see, it's moving up. And this is when it was on its good track from 275 all the way up to 400. Now watch. Now as it sells off at this high of 400, look at the purple line, and the candles are below, which indicates bearishness, meaning selling off. And as the candles move above this purple line, look, it gets more bullish, and it's actually increasing in price. Now I want to make this a little more clear because it's still kind of quick to learn EMA in 30 seconds. I'm going to put this in a 1 month chart so you can see. So look at this massive sell-off, and this is your EMA line. But look where all your shares are sold, down here. So massive sell-off, you're still predicting bearishness, meaning it's selling off. And then as this comes up, look, it's trading above. The candles are trading above this purple line. And then you can see that if the candles are trading below this line, you probably wouldn't want to buy it because it's going to be selling off. indicating here where the candles are above the purple line, it's coming up. Now it seems like a simple strategy, but if you just look at it, I mean, every single time the candles are below it, look, it's just selling off. So I like to use that as a swing trade to get an idea. And when I trade, I'm looking at all of these indicators. I'm not taking guesses. You want to use educated guesses. You're putting your money on the line. You want to make informed decisions. And I usually trade on Fidelity Trader Pro that has that as well, all these indicators. But I just think Webull makes it a nice way to see it and show it. And I think Webull does a very good job of to demonstrate these purposes as well. So I trade in both accounts, but I just personally love using these 4 indicators. So the first one I use is volume, and as I click them, you're going to see them formulate on the bottom. So you have volume. See, it formulates here, shows the amount of shares bought. I'll make this a little bit better, like a 5-day. And then, let me zoom out. This makes it a little easier. Hold on. Actually, that makes it worse almost. Let's do 1 month. So now I use the volume, RSI. We're always thinking at 30 and 70 rule. And then I use EMA, which you can see with that purple line. You see it clicking. And then the last one I like to use is VWAP, because when you play VWAP, you can get a lot of bounces off VWAP, meaning that if a stock is selling off, and let's say a stock was selling, let's use AMC because that's a good example. Let me just bring AMC up real quick. Where is it? There it is. So I'm going to just take off everything and only put on VWAP, just to illustrate my example. So VWAP is this orange line, and this is the volume weight adjusted price. This is the average price that everybody's buying at. If you added them all up, that would be the price that creates the support level. So when a stock is really high right now, and then it sells off, your VWAP at this point was $45. And look, it's bouncing off of the VWAP, meaning that this creates a mini support level for it. So it's good for like scalp trades where you want to get like 10, 20, 30 cents. And then when it's trading under VWAP, it's more bearishness and it sells off. And it's selling below that. But you don't want to just use any one indicator. You don't want to just use RSI or just VWAP or just EMA. You need to look at the whole picture together. That's how traders become successful. And that's why you have to follow your stop loss, because these things don't always work out. You need to always make sure you're covering all angles. So I use the RSI, I use the VWAP, I look at the volume, I look at the EMA, and look, now I have a picture. Now, picture's worth 1,000 words. You can look at the data and see, is the volume high that day? That's when I like to buy, because I like to play long. Sometimes I'll short, but I short with like minimal shares, so it's like just to learn. But just to keep it simple, the RSI here, keep the volume here. I have the EMA here that I'm following. And then I'm also following the VWAP, the volume adjusted weight price. Let's give one more example, and let's look at PLTR. PLTR is going to be a great example because I haven't even looked at this chart, but it was trading above. It was trading above the EMA. So watch the EMA here. I'm going to zoom out. This looks, hold on, why it looks like this. Go to 5 days. So here's your EMA. It was selling off. Look, as the share price coming down, all your bars, your candles are below it. See how they're below this purple line? All below it. And then I like to use EMA so you can see that it keeps getting rejected. So even when it's coming up here, it got rejected at this 27.10 level. So this is a form of resistance right here. Even when it sold off down to 26 and sold back up, it went back up to 27.10. Look, it's sold off again. So I used the previous EMA to see what the resistance would be, because if it didn't break that level and start going up, that's a resistance level now. So as you can see, it sold off again, and then look, if I was looking to make a re-entry on PLTR, it would have been at 27.15, because I want to see that it can break this previous level, 27.15, and this one at 27.10, and then look, here it did. And then look, let me zoom in on this so you can see it. So there's your EMA, this purple line. So you want to use that EMA to really look at when was the last EMA, where did it get rejected, right here. And where was that marker? Right here, around $27 mark. And that's why people buy at the highs. When things are going up, you want to know that this stock is moving up and has a good chance, and you're looking at the previous resistance levels. And this was indicating it. And that's why you see PLTR, look at that, boom, right up to back up to $29. So those are the four indicators I like to use: the EMA, the VWAP, the RSI, and the volume. And I use all those indicators when I'm going to dip buy and I'm going to look for an entry. So I'm looking at this, if you're looking at this RSI, where would you want to buy? You want to buy when it's below 30. Where is it below 30 on this? Right in this area. So right over here, it's at 25. And look, this is around $26, meaning it was oversold. And then even if you only held it for that day, I'm just drawing it so you can see. You have a nice indicator up here going up 2-3% in one day. So it's just little things you can think about that are good indicators. I mean, you got to follow your stop loss. Sometimes this happens and RSI can be super low, but it can still sell off. So it's not a, an end all be all like you're always going to make money, but it's definitely increases your odds, and you're not just looking at the price without any indicators on and then saying, hey, watch, take them all off. Now it's just like you're guessing. It's like you're just playing a guessing game. You have no idea what the stock's going to do, and then you're just taking a complete guess and hoping that it goes up. You want to add that VWAP, the volume adjusted weight price. You want to add the RSI. You want to add the volume. What's the volume for the day? The EMA. So you can really swing trade these things and see, like, what's the previous support levels, what's the previous resistance levels. And this is what I think makes individuals successful traders. So I just wanted to share what I learned. This is what I learned doing it. And yeah, I just want to pass on the knowledge. So if you feel like you learned something, I earn your thumbs up. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep trying to post more things about learning, because I had somebody comment to me saying, can you just try to go over the basics on what you use instead of just posting, what you traded for that day. So I'm going to try to mix in like what I used and like if I made a trade and like what I learned from it. I'll just show you what I was seeing at that time, and hopefully you can learn from there and just keep growing. Because I think everybody can do this. You just have to learn how to chart read, and the biggest thing is controlling your stop losses and not holding them until if you think it's a good buy and then you hold it all the way down, you just take huge losses. You got to just cut the losses. Like Wish was a stock that I've been talking about, and when I take it out, when I go in the 1 month chart and I'm looking strictly at just the EMA, I mean it's trading below. Look, let me zoom in. It's the candles are below this purple line. They're below it. So you don't want to buy. This is poor time to buy. So this is the first time that it has, that right here in this area at 615, that it has broke EMA and is above it. So it's actually trading above it. But now look, it's going back to even again. But you can't just look at just that picture. You got to look at the whole thing, like with the volume, with RSI, with EMA, and VWAP. And like even here, look, good example, RSI was 16 and it was $6.14. You would have to hold this for a good month to make some gains to go up to $7. Some people aren't willing to hold that long. So it doesn't mean that you're always going to be correct, but it just gives you a better perspective. Now, I personally don't know when the buy is for Wish. I think I'm going to buy it if it ever shows bullishness again. It's probably going to be up here, realistically, in the $8 to $9 range, because I want to see that I don't want to just buy them and hope, right? We want to see if they can break EMA. EMA is probably around this range, $7.50, because this is where it keeps getting rejected. So I apologize about the $9. That's probably off. But if you look here, there's your purple line. And it was getting rejected here around 740. So 750 is really the buy for Wish. You just have to wait, because it could just keep selling off. And if it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. And that's what it is. We want to make smart trades. We want to take our time to make these trades. So it's just another way to look at it. PLTR is hot right now. That's definitely the stock to be looking into. They are just so bullish right now, even with everything that's going on in the news. I got to get rid of these things. They look bad. There you go. But that's what I wanted to show you, just EMA, VWAP, RSI, and volume. That's what I use to trade. That's my biggest indicators. Please leave a comment in the section below if you feel like you learned something. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Thanks. See you until next time.